Peace, peace, peace. Namaste, namaste. Much gratitude and much grace. Where we give love, we give thanks. We are back on Only for Hearts podcast with yours truly, Joshua Hightower. And you are blessed, you are honored, you are grateful, you are important, you matter. Before we even get into this energy exchange, we're going to speak life into you. Know that you are important, you are detailed in this equation of life, and you matter. So, today's message, what we're going to get into, how does the ego affect your life? What are the benefits and the cons of ego? And how can this lead you to a better life, or how could this be your downfall? So let's start with the cons. Let's look at the bad side of things. Let's look at where people go wrong. With ego, ego can be a very unrighteous thing. Ego can lead you to a place to where you can feel like everything is victim mindset, or everything has to be a response, everything has to have an answer, or everything is bothering you. You have no real security in yourself, security in the divine. It's almost like you're unsure of yourself. And when we see examples of ego, this could be simply as, let's say y'all go into a gas station and someone spills a drink on you. And instead of saying, okay, they're human, just like me and them, you get all upset and go crazy and say, you know what? Da 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 da, XYZ. You say, I'm gonna do this to you, do that to you. But ultimately, they could have made a mistake. It could have been a simple mistake. They could have tripped. They could have failed. They could have not been paying attention, and it could be a mistake. And instead of you just giving them grace, or giving yourself grace, because we're all reflections, you decide to go haywire. And ego could be something as far as like someone trying to critique you on a project, on and say if it's a painting, a song, a product that you're trying to market or sell, and they're trying to show you where, hey, this could be a fix here, this can be a little change here, and they're not hating, they're actually trying to help you. They're genuine friends, someone that genuinely cares about you. But instead you say, my ego was hurt because this is something I took time to build and work on and manifest. But since because your ego was so hurt and you're not willing to look past the ego and try to grow from it, you're staying in this ego cage. It's like a cage. It keeps you trapped, keeps you from seeing the bigger picture. And that point of like reference is like, how can you grow? How can you be better? How can you see things differently if you always stand in your ego? It's like it's like almost saying the world revolves around you in a sense, and you can't do no wrong. But that's the ego. Ego is where you don't know how to put your pride to the side and say, you know what, I'm wrong, maybe they're right, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe they're right, you know. And ego is a beautiful thing because it teaches you a lesson. It can help you learn and help you grow in life. But where we mess up and where we fall victim to is we can allow this to destroy us. We can allow this to influence us to make irrational decisions, and we can allow this to make us make bad decisions that we can't learn from because we're so stuck in the ego. And like I said, people that are in their ego, they don't know how to put their pride to the side. They don't know how to forgive themselves or forgive people or give grace. They just instantly like, you're wrong. They don't know how to hear people out. They don't know how to fix things, like as far as like bonds or things that they're, just going over things and fixing when they are wrong. That's the ego. That's the bad parts of ego. And it can be something like you just trying to literally explain something to someone, but they're not trying to hear it. That's someone stuck in their ego. They're not trying to hear it. They're not trying to hear it. They're not trying. It's like talking to a brick wall. They're not trying to hear it. And if you notice people that are stuck in their egos, they're real emotional. They're like real emotional, real impulsive. Like they always like react. They're real reactive. They're not really proactive or responsive, I should say. They're not responsive. They always react off of emotions because they don't know how to control their emotions. And if you go back in my last video, it's going to talk about how it's relating to the solar plexus. It's going to involve your ego, which is involving confidence. Just to piggyback off of that same video, but the ego still requires a level of discipline, it requires a level of confidence that you should instill into yourself and you should build into yourself. And people with low egos, they can really, it can be an end all or be all for them when someone's trying to critique them, correct them, or as simple as like they made a mistake and they're wrong, but you don't, you take it as like it's the, oh, like this and that and you gotta, you know. But on a beneficial side of your ego could possibly protect you. It can possibly keep you from overextending yourself to someone. You know, it can possibly keep you from not, you know, keeping yourself and showing yourself like you have dignity. You know, it can keep you from chasing after something that's like, you know, no longer worth to chase. You know, it's no longer worth to run to. And ego is there for a period of like, it's like a foundation. But then to grow from your ego, you need to grow as far as mentally. You need to grow as far as spiritually, because your ego will always be a part of you, but don't let it control you. Don't let it be something that manifests into a controller. You know, don't let it guide you. Don't let it be the, you know, center of your life. Because ultimately, as we are growing as people, our job and mission here on this planet is servitude. Because in somewhere in this life, we are going to service either ourselves, people, whether you, it don't matter if you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you're doing some form of service. You're doing something. You're servicing the communities. You're servicing other artists. You're servicing, you know, consumers. Whatever it may be, it's still a service you have to provide. And you being stuck in your ego can keep you from seeing what other people or, you know, needs or wants are, and it can keep you from growing. So the ego is a dangerous thing to endeavor in if you are on the con side of things, but it's a beautiful thing if you're on the beneficial side, to where you can keep things protected. It's there to protect you. At times it's there to protect you. Sometimes it can be too protective, and that's that, you know, mama bear, you know, papa bear shielding your kids from the world type of thing, you know, maybe because of something that happened when you were young. And that's your ego, you know, that's your ego. And it can kind of transition over to your kids or friends or family. Maybe because, all right, let's give an example. And this was from, this is, all right, we'll just give an example that I'll give a scenario. Say if there is a mother, and a mother growing up, she loves singing. She loves singing. She sung all the time, every day. Beautiful voice, beautiful singer, right? One day she decides to sing, and somehow her dad came home and he had a long day at work. And for some reason, dad or mom, they had a long day at work. For some reason, dad came, mom came, and she was singing her beautiful voice out, right? And she decided, or she or he decided to say, "Shut up. I don't like that ugly voice." And ever since then, that little girl, who is the mother now, older, doesn't like singing because her mom or her dad decided to tell her to shut up and her ego is hurt. Now, maybe her kid, daughter or son, has the same ability, but because of that ego that was hurt when she was younger and she hasn't worked on that, she's not secure or confident in herself, she turns around and says the same thing. Like, you know, ego, like we gotta check that. Ego, we have to check that. That's how some people lose their life. That's how some people lose their freedom. It can be as simple as saying you a man and you with your woman or whatever, with friends, it don't matter. And you out in public and someone says something crazy, you know who you are as a person. You know who you are as a man. You know who you are as a woman. There's no need to lose your life for freedom. Nobody got their hands put on them. It wasn't nothing that was, you know, about to lose their life. Why are you trying to prove yourself? And that's how people lose their life for freedom, you know, especially people that engage in instigating and saying, you're going to let this person talk to me like that? Or you're going to be like, I would never let them talk to me like that. You're instigating the ego. You're not being intentional. You know who you are. That's childish. You know, that's like middle school stuff. Like, ooh, like that's like middle school stuff. And I get some people like, that's just how they are. Like, oh, I was raised off respect and principle. That's cool. You'll be raised in that jail too. You'll be raised in that jail too, or that graveyard. So you got to be mindful of that, how much the ego can affect your life, and it can shift you into a lesser reality, not a higher reality. You know, and It can you just got to be mindful of it. Don't let these people get you hyped up and try to trick you out of your position, try to trick you out of success, and try to trick you out of your confidence in yourself. If you know who you are as a man, you know who you are as a woman, leave it alone. It don't matter. Put that ego to the side. If we really trying to win in life, put it to the side. Check it. Stop it. Why would you care what somebody you don't know says about you? You don't know them. They could be crazy. They could be mentally ill. Think about it. They could be mentally ill, and they say something crazy about you. You know they're mentally ill. If you know they're mentally ill, why would you care? But you don't know nothing about them. So now, if you don't know nothing about them, it doesn't even matter. It's null and void. They don't know you. You don't know them. Leave it alone. Cross it out. But people are so image based driven, that they try to prove themselves because they're not secure in themselves. They don't know how to check their ego. They try to prove to people, and they end up, risking their life or risking their freedom. And it's a shame. It had been a lot of people that went down for the sense of ego, the sense of not being able to put their pride to the side and say, "I'm sorry, forgive me, I'll do this, I'll do that," or say, like the spilling the drink thing, saying, "Excuse me, my bad, brother, I'll pay for the drink, I got you." That don't mean you soft or you weak because you did that. That shows a level of strength and integrity and character because you saw where you messed up at. You saw your mistake. You fixed it. You corrected it. That shows intelligence. That shows emotional IQ. Like, come on, man. These people be trying to get y'all gassed up so that you can be a part of the drama, a part of this BS. Like, let's be real, bro. Like, sit down and really think about this. You finna crash out over someone calling you D D D D D blah 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 blah, and they don't know you. They don't know you. They don't know the work that you put in. They don't know the accomplishments. They don't know the pain. They don't know the whole journey. They don't know you. But because they said it to you out in public in front of people them people you don't know either, and whoever you with, they know you are. They know you a stand-up guy. They know you a stand-up girl. You just decide to crash out. That's immature. That's immature. And notice people that have, you know, weak egos, there's some immaturity about them. There's a level of immaturity about them. There's no like maturity for real. There's no like adult mindset inside of them that says, I'm confident in who I am. I'll put that to the side, leave that alone. Cool. That's what they said. Cool. They didn't hurt none of my family. They didn't hurt me. As far as physical, that's cool. Leave it alone. Bulletproof mindset, bro. But people be soft deep down, man. You can't take a few like, hey, you saying this about me, da da da, and this a stranger. I mean, I hear you when you say, I hear you talking right now saying it's principle, bro. It's just the principle. It's the principle, man. I get it. It's a respect thing. Cool. That's cool. That's gonna be the same way when you've been in the penitentiary. It's gonna be the same way, and it's gonna be the same thing when they be like, bro, he died by his respect, man. He died about it. What you gonna do now? What you gonna tell your children? What you gonna tell your girl, your cousin, your uncle, your auntie, your mom, your dad, your sister, your mentors, coaches, barbers, pastors? What you gonna tell them? They just gonna put you as a hashtag, or whether it be long live or free my, because you couldn't check your ego. You couldn't be an adult for 20 seconds. In reality, like 5 to 10. But 20 seconds to remove yourself from that setting and focus on something better than that. You couldn't do that. That's sad. That's sad. And that shows the level of adulthood. That shows the level of character and integrity. That shows the level of confidence you have in yourself too. You weak-minded. Don't be weak-minded like these people. Keep a strong mind. Focus. Focus. Tighten up. As my brothers would say, tighten up. Because that's just a shame, man. You finna get all gassed up and psych out over someone who don't even know you. That's a shame. That's a shame. You just made 6 figures this year. You just bought this house. You just got this apartment. You just bought this car. You just performed at this place. You just wrote a book. You just worked out and ran 10 miles. You done lost 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds. You gained 10, 15, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. You didn't got healthy. You didn't got closer to God. But because they called you a punk or a buster or some crazy word, you let that move you. But they ain't put hands on you. They ain't put hands on your wife, your kids, your husband, your daughter, your son, your cousin, your auntie, your grandma. They ain't put hands on nothing. They ain't do nothing. Your life ain't in danger. They ain't put no gun, no nothing. They ain't do nothing. But say something. Like where are we gonna set the boundary of like, you know what? We better than that. We know who we are. We secure in ourselves. Let's just focus on the good. Let's focus on something that's actually, smart and intelligent. Why are you feeding the fire? You know, you feeding the fire. You entertaining the circus that the clown is trying to present to us. You entertaining the circus that the clown is trying to present to us. Let the clown be the clown, man. Let him be the clown. You not a clown. You smart, intelligent person, intelligent being. Act like it. Behave like it. Because once you start entertaining that circus, now you got two clowns in there. Now they don't know who the difference is. Now they don't know who is who. They don't know who is who. Do better, man. Do better. We got to get out of way. Got to get away from this ego because it's gonna hurt a lot of us from building in communities and being able to say, you know what, I'll put my pride to the side, work with my brother, my sister, my significant other, or another counterpart that we may dislike. It keeps us from growing as a person too. And keep us from collaboration. And collaboration help us to grow. Collaboration helps us to grow every day. Every day we collaborate and decide to say, this person may know more than me, or despite what this person may have did, as long as there was no bloodshed, we can work together. We can grow. We can fix that. Come on, man. That ego, bro. Check that ego, man. Cause you can be all in your ego and be so wrong and think you just right. Think you 110% right too. Like you speak with your chest out, head up, clearly, but you dead wrong. But because of that ego, you think you just right. And it can leave you looking like a clown, man. Don't be out here looking like a clown, man. Know that you are an intelligent person. Y'all know that. Y'all done seen the people that be all in their ego and they just quick to react and get defensive or quick to kind of like not want to reach out and work with people because they scared of how they'll look. Like they'll look like they just fanned out or something. They'll look like bro, I ain't gonna want to reach out. They gonna, that's your ego, bro. That's your ego. That's your ego. That's your ego. And we didn't all fell victim to it. We all didn't had our moments where we but then we look back and it's like, bro, that wasn't even, I could have worked with dude, or I could have worked with her. I could have talked it out. I could have spoke and had a conversation with them. But we can grow from that. And that's the only way we will grow. Ego is there just to create that foundation of, having that line, having that barrier. Like, all right, nah, you can't come back from that. But then after that, you can work some things out, bro. You can put things to the side and be secure in yourself and know like, hey, we good. I know who I am. My girl know who she is. Cousin know who he is. Uncle, it don't matter. You know who you are. You know who you are. So, and I got a question like, what are some things, and you should ask yourself this and write it down. What are some things in your life that you know is your ego talking and it's not your higher self to be able to like, all right, we can work on this. Write them down, really, really dive deep and say, what are some things that my ego talks when someone's trying to help me correct that you let your ego take over and say, nah, I'm good. Figure that out. Correct that. Because that might be keeping you from going to the next level or next phase in your life or receiving the next blessing. Trying to sound like you're the smartest or say, I know everything can keep you from learning more knowledge and more wisdom from someone. It can keep you from, saying like, hey, I don't know what you mean by that, or I don't know what this is, or that means. Can you please tell me or teach me? That's all it takes, man. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. You should want to know and learn more. You should want to better yourself. It's like the ego saying you want to be stupid still. Like, let's be real, bro. That's what the ego is saying. Like, it's trying to keep you from elevating your your consciousness. I mean, you see it. If you've seen someone with a bad ego, you know. They quick to not want to work things out. They quick not to want to learn. Like, come on, man. That's simple. But I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste, namaste. Much gratitude, much grace. We give love, we give thanks. Peace.